We've done a pretty good job of understanding, next play mentality, win or lose, tired or not, day off or not. You got to turn the page quickly in this league.
Coach, obviously the first 3 SEC games have been very different games as far as how they've been played. Just when you start looking towards, obviously you don't want to look ahead, but kind of trying to build this team into a team that can win the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. Just how important is it to be able to win these games that are different in styles and just in the way they're played and officiated as well?
Yeah, definitely. And each game's officiated a little bit uniquely as well. But those are signs of good teams, teams that can get some stops down the stretch on the road at South Carolina when you score about 15 less than your average or even more than that. And I don't know how good we are. I know we're 2-1 in a really good league. We've got a bunch of really good teams ahead, but if we're going to make some noise, of course, you've got to win games in different ways. You've got to win on certain nights when maybe your bench plays better than your starters, or you got a couple starters that struggle, or you win a game by being great defensively or vice versa. Those teams that are able to win in a bunch of different ways obviously win more games than others.
Kind of going off that just a little bit, like I said the other day against South Carolina, they go on that big run, they go up by 12, and y'all immediately respond right after that. How much does the team grow from coming out the other way on instances like that? Yeah,
it's 2 or 3 times this year we've quickly erased those leads by the other team, right? And had a really good mentality, a fighter's mentality, a resolve just to keep swinging. And a quiet confidence too. I was, our guys were probably a little more confident than I was there at halftime. I just didn't feel, I thought we finished the half pretty strong, but our middle of the half, we just weren't very good. And they were having their way with us offensively and defensively. But I thought early second half, we were very good. We finished the game strong overall defensively, giving up 30 on the road in this league. Especially for a team that's not elite defensively. We'd like to be in time. Hopefully we can get better and better. But those were good signs of having some basketball character.
I know you've been asked about this during the season. Do you think the 11-player rotation is something they will stick with, or how do you view that?
Yeah, I'm at a point right now. We have. I love our bench. I love our talented freshmen. We're going to continue to give these guys opportunities as long as they earn them in practice. Both of our freshmen had a really good practice today. How much they play in the next one, a lot will be determined by how quickly, how effectively they settle into the game. And really, they've got competition on their team too. Probably shouldn't say that openly too much to our guys, right, as we're trying to have them be super connected with one another. But with that depth, you're going to, at the end of the day, the guys that play the most minutes Wednesday night against Ole Miss, if we're pressing the right buttons as a staff, are going to be the guys that play the best or that you trust the most. And a lot of times, those are the guys that have been around a little bit longer, have played college basketball a little bit longer, that are giving off that body language, again, that they've settled in. They're making the right decisions defensively. They're taking good shots. The teammates trust them when they have the ball in their hands. There's just so many factors that go into it. But I like the problem we have as opposed to vice versa.
Looking at Ole Miss defensively, what stands out about them to you? They're among the SEC's best as far as points allowed.
Every year. Yeah, every year. Stingy, handsy, physical, switchable, versatile. They're strong. They're older. They've got some guys that have played a lot of college games, and they get after you. They prepare. That switchability with Dia is pretty unique. They're playing him a lot at the 4, some at the 5, 6'9", 250, and moves like a guard. And then their principles, I would say, were probably unique 8-10 years ago, and a couple guys on their staff, led by Coach Beard, of course, I think it put a little bit of stamp on a lot of teams in college basketball that have kind of taken some of their principles back from Texas Tech and Texas. And So they're just it's a good defensive program first and foremost. But then they've got good defenders out there playing it as well.
Mike, about a month ago, you openly questioned what would happen to this team if they got into a half-court game.
Yeah.
You had some questions that you wanted answered as far as where is that at? I know there hasn't been a lot of half-court games, but just
Right.
a little bit. And then what are the questions that are still ahead for this team?
Yeah, sure. I think we answered a couple of those positively the other day in the second half. In the first half, I can tell you it led to about 8 awful shots. I mean, it was our worst shot selection game probably since I've been at Georgia, definitely this year. Pressing, my turn to get one up, nervous about getting a quality one collectively. Let's just try this one, experimenting on the fly. Really got out of character. That said, a lot of that had to do with another really solid, not only defensive team, but defensive program in our league. You're going to get that going into Columbia or even South Carolina at home. Just sound, stay in front of the ball, in the gaps, prepared. And we were stuck in the half court, and we had some ugly possessions. But in the second half, down the stretch, did a much better job. Got out in transition a little bit, but had some possessions where we effectively executed in the half court. Overall, Mike, circling back, your other points, where do we need to see this team grow, continue to be better on the defensive glass, defend without fouling, our decisions in our different pressures, full court presses, half court traps. There's still a ways to go to reach our ceiling with our defensive decisions collectively. Our bench, as we talked about, can we get 8 or 9 to play well on a certain night? I'd like to think that team would be pretty good. Our shot selection offensively, which has led to a low three-point percentage. We're a better shooting team than that when we're taking good ones. And then also our offensive block percentage. I mean, I want to say we're 22nd, 23rd in the country in offensive efficiency with a low three-point percentage and a high percentage of getting our shot blocked at the rim. So really decisions offensively and decisions defensively. We're not I don't want to sit here and whine about how young we are because we're older than last year's team. But we've got a ways to go with just being seasoned, individually and as a team, just continuing to grow. But this team's, they're open to it. Just had a good practice.
Coach, obviously, Cannon had a good game the other night. Just what's this team's ceiling if he continues to play aggressive offensively, but then also what he did on the boards with the rebounding and everything? Yeah,
I mean, we're a pretty good team and got a chance to be better. How good, I don't know. Depends on some of those areas we talked about and how good we can be in a lot of those areas. But Cannon gives you a unique ability at his position, both defensively and offensively, but especially offensively. And I thought, and I know it was by far his best defensive game. The way that we tally a bunch of different defensive responsibilities and put numbers behind it. He was the best defensive player on our team the other day. And again, it was by far his best defensive performance. And it's sometimes the game just rewards you, right? And you fall into points. You make the right decisions offensively. He took a couple C shots, probably a little bit overly aggressive at times, but I'd rather him err on that side because he's a really talented kid. Getting downhill, passing the ball, coming off ball screens at 6'10", mid-range game. And then again, he's due for a game at some point where he hits multiple threes. But he's like we're talking a lot about with the rest of the team. He's growing. He's getting better right before our eyes, coming off his best game.
Ask about Smurf and Dillon, so we'll be talking to them in just a little
Yeah.
bit. Talk about the confidence with the Smurf show that he comes off the bench. I mean, gives you some instant offense, where he's running, helping run the offense.
Yeah.
And then with Dillon, he may not always give you quote unquote counting stats. I know in the game the other day there was one sequence where he was just flying around the offensive board, had like 2 or 3 tip-aways, that kind of thing, and just what he continued to do.
Dillon, and I put Justin Bailey in that category as well. That you feel like a more energetic, competitive team when those guys are on the court. I believe in Dillon. I trust him. He's a winner. Justin is too. But I've been in the foxhole with Dillon for 3 years, and he's always played really well down the stretch. He's always been ready. He's about the right stuff. He's a great teammate. And when he has success, Positivity spreads really for all of us, players and staff. Made some big plays, a lot of plays that don't show up, but just like you said, just he flies around. His energy can be contagious. He's really versatile defensively. He's a good cutter. He's hard to block out. And on nights that he can complement that, with a made jump shot or two, he's a very good player. And he's working on that as we speak. And I thought Justin Bailey was really good too. Smurf Millender, love Smurf Millender. He's a starter. He's one of my favorite point guards I've coached, and he's coming off the bench, which I think speaks volumes about Justin Ross as well. But about Smurf's willingness to accept winning. What role do you need me to play? I'm going to be a star in this role. And roles can evolve. You never know what happens with him. But I know throughout a 40-minute game, he's not starting, but for the next 39 minutes, I want him in the game. He's hard to take out of the game, and he's had a great year to this point. Hopefully he continues to get better.
When you talk about shot selection, maybe C shots, is that usually coming early in the possession when you're looking at it? Yeah. Early to mid. If you take a hard one under 5 seconds, we're all great with it, right? It really wasn't a C or an F shot. It was an A shot at that point. That's the best one we could get up. It's better than turning it over. Second best would be punting it in the stand so we can set our defense. But at least, shooting a C or an F shot late clock, give you a chance to have some floor balance, go chase it on the offensive glass. But let's explore. Let's try to get a driving kick three. Let's try to draw a foul. Let's try to get to the rim. And we had some really good possessions in the second half, and a couple C's in the second half. But certainly half-court offense first half was subpar for us. And South Carolina's, they had a ton to do with that.
Obviously, Jeremiah had the rolled ankle against Auburn, I guess. He's been playing, but, how has that kind of been coming along for him?
He is a world-class athlete, and I think he's maybe superhuman in some ways with his ability to bounce back, to jump off the floor. And, he rolled it in that game. Was it a couple games ago? I can't remember when it was. And he just jumps right up like he didn't roll it. I may have been out a month, as a player when I was 19. But he's also got some toughness. He does. And a challenge to him, I think he can be an elite defender in time. And a lot of that is just, it's a decision. It's your self-identity as a player. What do you hang your hat on? All of this or just this or this and this. And on Tuesday, what do I hang my hat on? On Saturday, what do I hang my hat on? And, coming off a game where he wasn't great offensively, he struggled, and that's all of us. All of us are involved with him in his scoring. He was phenomenal against Auburn. But on nights like that, I think he can impact in other ways. I think his ceiling defensively is really, really high. And some of that is his speed and quickness, his competitiveness, but also his toughness, going back to the ankle thing. He can take hits and keep coming.